some crazy dad lore.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 20-sided archives. Chronicles of Umaria, Chapter 1, Shadow Falls, Episode 18. I am aware of my misspelling. Shut up! They've been bugging me about it for the past 2 minutes. Because I also spelled it wrong on our Instagram.
Wait, you spelled it wrong on the stream title?
Yeah. I just edited it too. I was like, wait, that means, oh no!
I saw it in the Instagram post when you, like, messaged everyone. I'm like, that doesn't look right. So I googled it and, like,
E. I'm not good with spelling, fun fact.
We've noticed.
Bachelor.
Just
English is our first language, everybody.
and it's snorted everywhere.
Death of a Bachelor.
This is a great start.
We're already off to a great start. Anyways, my name is Eli. I will be your acting archivist / dungeon master for this campaign. As always, I am joined here by Jared as Stephen Winterfall,
Howdy.
Brian as Chisel Havard.
Hello.
Oh my god. And
I just finished eating, sorry.
And Casey as Redwood of Velico Dervo.
You do pick us in a random order.
I try to keep it in a certain order, but I never remember what it was.
I feel like I'm always first.
You are always first.
Yeah, Brian was last previously and mentioned something like, how am I supposed to follow this up?
It's very hard to follow up Brian.
It is
I
very-
am a menace to society.
You are a menace to society. At least you know it, though.
Mm-hmm. The society doesn't even exist yet, but god damn it, you're the menace.
I need someone to pick a 1 through 6.
Four.
3.
4.
Oh, cool! I got Hill Giant.
Anyways, last where we had left off, that music timing was perfect. Last where we had left off, our companions here had all interacted with grandmother Maria. Was it Marie or Maria? I can't remember. It was one of the two. And Chisel's parents. Mariah, thank you.
Mother Mariah.
The pariah.
Grandmother Mariah, Brent, and the unnamed mother, who I have not given a proper name to yet.
Let's go over other names we've forgotten.
They had all gathered around a table after meeting Bulbit, the head honcho of the family that Chisel is to marry into, to combine the two families. After revealing that Frostbringer's core was something that they had brought along with them in order to show the family. After some really heated discussion between Mariah and Brent and Chisel's mother, they finally relented and decided to tell Chisel the truth. The truth being that Frostbringer has been within the mountains of the Knotted Rise ever since he created them. Grandmother Mariah also dropped a little bit of information about how the Havard family has survived since the first revision.
Let's be strong.
And seems to have favored the family for many generations. After this, Chisel, in his anger, demanded to know the truth. Which was Frostbringer hiding within the mountains of the Knotted Rise. Brent took the trio and Shrub down into the mountain to meet Frostbringer proper, or at least for Chisel to meet Frostbringer. For Brent then escorted Redwood and Seven away into a separate chamber that was still connected to Frostbringer's domain in the mountains, but far enough where they would not hear. Or so he thought, as it turns out, Redwood cast Pass Without a Trace on himself and proceeded to spy in on the conversation between Chisel and Frostbringer, where Frostbringer offered him his sight and claimed to his title as champion, should he desire it, which Chisel ultimately refused in favor for doing something in return for him instead, not wanting to take out free handouts. It was then discovered that Frostbringer had a task for him which involved killing the dragon that Redwood is familiar with. Ulnar. It is here within this separate antechamber from Frostbringer's domain that we pick back up after Seven had asked Redwood to identify his two surprisingly incredibly useful magic items that he had created. Also getting a new feature, as you can see, called Fuck Around and Find Out, which allows him to have advantage on identifying the items that he creates when he creates them. So, it is here where...
We wrap up our session.
No. where we
Bye-bye.
where we continue. Brent has been sitting off in the corner of the chamber, separate from everyone, just kind of letting you guys duke it out and talk and figure out what your next step of attack and plan of attack is. But he does eventually speak up and go, so that does bring in the question of the wedding and who you are to marry. I do not wish to push, but it is important.
You don't wish to push, but you're just pushing now.
I would rather you be married before you go off and try and kill a dragon. I will be quite
So he
frank.
just learned information that changed his life, and he's supposed to stop and settle down. Would you rather he have a wife who worries about him as he goes to potentially slay or die to a dragon?
That's what I'm asking. Can we have the marriage first before you go off and start trying to slay something that's apparently corrupted beyond recognition?
It would buy us time to come up with a plan.
Chisel is just going to stare at his father, well, while not really seeing him. A slight flicker of an emotion crosses his face, but he nods and just sighs. Of course, for the greater of the family.
Would you please be so kind as to go ahead and...
Deception?
Yeah, if you could roll
Wisdom saving throw?
deception for me here. Oh, okay.
Anyone would like to roll an insight, you can.
No, this is just for your father. He does have advantage because you are his son.
Oh boy.
Still fails. He looks at you and tries to kind of gauge what's going on in your mind at the moment. He kind of has just like a... I think the first thing that he guesses is that you're still upset with him and your mother for what happened earlier before all of this and keeping such big things a secret from you, but he just kind of is gonna let you sort of stew in that for now, because attempting to push beyond is a little bit of a bad idea.
And a little rude.
Yeah. Brent then proceeds to lead you all back to... Ooh, that's a lot. Begins to lead you all back to basically the main sort of round space within the mountains.
Chamber.
Not the chamber with Frostbringer. I think he just kind of like leads you quickly, guys, through the tunnel, back out to Frostbringer's chamber, and then up to where the family resides. So you guys are going to be walking up a lot of steps. Roll me Constitution saving throws for these steps, please.
Rude.
15.
Natural 20.
It's a 4.
And Shrub also roll me.
I mean,
Don't you
I
dare.
hate to say it, but it kind of makes sense for Thevin. You are more used to not the closed
21 on
spaces.
Shrub.
21 on Shrub. Brent will also roll a Constitution saving throw.
Evan's used to the feeling of soil beneath his feet, not so much stone.
Yeah, I think so.
What dirt?
Shut up. So I think, Chisel, you're fine. It's not a big deal for you. You're a little winded afterwards, but it's not bad. Redwood, you feel fine, amazingly enough.
Redwood is an endurance hunter.
Yeah, he is. You have traveled very long distances for so many years compared to the rest of your friends here. And of course, because Shrub is the same and she's been traveling with you, she is obviously more attuned to this sort of work. 7, it is a mixture of the stone and the change in altitude and everything else that just kind of crashes down on you just instantly. And you are so tired. I'm gonna need you to take 1 level of exhaustion for me, please.
Oh, okay.
I actually
I think,
know exhaustion rules.
Exhaustion first level, you have disadvantage on all, like, everything.
Yeah.
Ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls.
Until you rest and remove that level.
Oh. That's honestly
6 is
rather...
dead.
Yeah, 6 is dead.
I'm very glad they changed that to like 12, because that is harsh.
We are playing by base, not by 1.
I know.
So, the group finally returns to the overarching chamber. The door, sensing your father basically pushes the door back in place and it slides perfectly back into the wall. Now that you guys are finally like looking at that wall where the door was, you've just barely see the seam of where the door connects, but it's so imperceptible, like so hard to notice, that it's like you really, really have to be looking for it. But you return. Your mother has been waiting back in the main sort of dining chamber that you all were in earlier, Chisel, and she's just kind of doing anxious mother things of busying herself with kitchen things and cooking and cleaning and just basically moving around the kitchen. She understands that you're angry at her, but she just can't help but feel like nervous. Because, you know, mother doesn't want her own son to hate her, so she's just kind of like trying to do her best to quell her anxiety at this moment.
Redwood is going to shoot a quick message at Chisel really quickly, sort of fling a touch of energy. I know what you told your father, but what would you have us do? Help, hinder, or run?
I don't know.
As soon as you have a plan, let Shrub know.
Bloody hell. Why are there so many stairs in your goddamn mountain?
It'd help if you wore shoes.
I am wearing the footwear.
I'm not sure.
Honestly, I kind of expect you to be in better shape.
It's the altitude and the hard stone on my foot.
Oh, aren't you the Mr. Hunter of the mountain? Oh, poor me, the little forest druid can't make it through the stone tunnels.
Do you want an arrow finding its way through shrubs back there? Huh?
Do you
You
think
want
you can
your
make a shot
kneecaps?
with that much breath?
Do you want your
Aye.
kneecaps intact?
Ugh. Just remember how many times I saved their arses.
Oops.
Alright.
I clicked a button.
You click the button.
Cast plant growth on Devin.
Cast plant growth.
The
best- the best part-
in vines.
The best part is, like, because of the way the cropping is for the dice roller, it just shows, like, the bottom paragraph of text plus your spell safety.
If you cast the spell for 8 hours.
Shrub just kind of looks over to you, Redwood, and something happens that I don't think you knew was possible for her before up until this moment, but she speaks to you through your mind. As you're familiar, and goes, "So what's the plan, boss? What are we doing?"
We are following Chisel's lead if he has a plan for us. And I have something I want to do. I really wish you would... How long have you been able to do this?
A while, but we've never had any need of it until now.
You mean like the conversations in the dark, or trying to hide from the giant creatures in the cave, or when everyone was in the avalanche, or when you were separated? Anything?
Shrub just kind of looks sheepish at you and just is like,
I'm sorry.
now that you mentioned it.
Just a quiet, I'm sorry.
Now that you mentioned it, I am starting to understand where you are coming from.
This is alright. I'm
I-
glad we have this tool.
So we're following Chisel's lead. Does Chisel even know what we're doing yet?
Nope.
And Frostbringer tasked them to kill Ulnar.
Umbrin.
Umbrin.
And I don't know what to do about it, but I have something to do while I think.
Try and contact Ithis, right?
It's a good idea. I want to try and think if there are other options first. I know a great spell that would help out everybody here. I accidentally clicked it earlier.
What does clicking mean? As her nose just starts bleeding.
It's not a problem.
I also think that while we're here, since we're stuck sitting, and I know you're not very good at sitting still for very long, I do think you should try and sort of... I do think trying to contact her after everything is a little important.
Okay. But do you know how hard it is to talk to someone after the last time you talked to them you yelled in their face very crassly?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Out of character, we all know this very, very well. The fear, the adrenaline.
The anxiety.
Shrub goes, okay, but unfortunately that is still something that you have to do. In case she, is your only option for if something goes really, really wrong. And Brian, what the hell are you doing?
He summoned the sun.
Hello to Holy Fire.
I'll do it over a spell. It takes 8 hours.
Oh, yay. But do you promise me you'll actually do it, or are you just saying that to make me feel better?
Well, how would you know which of if I'm lying or not?
I'm your familiar. I kind of
Then
get...
you would know if I lied there.
That's true. But I figured I should ask to confirm first. Roll me deception, please.
He does plan to do this, but he is absolutely poking at Shrub's logic here. 20.
Hey, look, another deception.
Roll insight for Shrub.
She
While
doesn't
this is
have
all
a
happening-
specific bonus for
Do-
insight, so
Do
Well,
wisdom.
insight's
Wisdom.
wisdom.
Well,
17.
17.
Seven is just gonna go rest somewhere.
Yeah, so Shrub just kind of looks like you see her like imperceptibly just narrow her eyes at you, and is just like,
Mhm.
I'll hold you to that. And she just kind of like walks off to go and find something to do. 7. You wander off to go and find a place to rest. Roll me perception or investigation to find a decent rest spot.
Okie dokie. 10.
My brother in Christ, what are your rolls today?
Apparently,
This is my first roll today.
no, that is your
I
second.
stole them.
How dare you, Casey?
Redwood stole.
Fuck you.
So you begin this sort of
Journey for sleep.
journey for a sleep spot. But I think you end up wandering a bit too far.
Of course you would.
But not in the sort of way that you motherfucker.
Oh yes,
I
Riolu.
can't get anything done when you people are doing shit like this in Discord. He put a
Well-
fucking Lucario on his head.
That's Riolu.
Ryolu.
Ryolu.
I thought it was Riolu.
I said Riolu.
I don't care.
He
Anywho.
has it wedged between his head and his headphones.
Anyways, you're the one that's getting distracted.
So I have ADD and you people keep doing these things.
Yeah, I haven't done nothing.
I haven't either.
Thank you, You put a fucking
Excuse me,
flashlight
Mr.
to
God
your
of the Sun.
Sun God.
But
Sorry, we're all a little crazy.
back on track, please.
It's probably gonna die. Let's see.
7, you're moving through the space here, and I think you start to notice that something's off. Something dangerous. My question to you is, how curious is 7 when he senses danger in this moment in the mountains, in a place he's not familiar with?
He is extremely curious, and if he wasn't exhausted or tired, he would investigate. But really, it's just like he stares down the abyss of unknowable horrors, yawns, later, and turns around.
So for everyone else, we need to keep 7 hired. We need to keep him tired, and
Yeah, there's demons and shit, but goddamn it, I'm EP.
I need a nap. The
I'm
eldritch,
tired of
the-
this shit.
the eldritch abominations that are waiting for me in the shadows can wait till the morning.
Pretty much.
hey, if they're in my shadow, they should know my sleep schedule is fucked, so they would understand.
Well, I guess going from that back to
The
Damn.
rest of the party. No story hooks for you.
no story hooks that I've spent hours trying to set up here. Fuck me, I guess.
Fuck you, you made him EP.
It's not my fault he got a 4.
You made him roll.
I do think 7, however, you go back, and then after, like, asking around, you do find a spot where people are like, oh yeah, just go over this way. There's, like, guest quarters. And you find a resting spot. And I think you just, like, lay down and then instantly fall asleep. It's been a very stressful few days.
Honestly,
The bead of force kind of resting between his fingers as he's fiddling with it when he was falling asleep.
honestly, thinking about the timeline, we've only been in Chisel's home like 10 hours.
You guys have only been in the home for 10 hours, but you also traveled through the mountains and nearly died on the way twice.
I know. But time-wise, it's been a long day.
It's been a very long
Yeah.
day. But we're going to go ahead and move over to Chisel.
Oh no. Who's ready to watch The Bachelor?
Yeah, speaking of, we're gonna go ahead and go there.
The celestial music.
Chisel.
Yes.
You begin to sort of take the time to yourself to sort of wrap your head around everything that you had learned / discovered about yourself and your family that you didn't know for the past 50 years. I think you find a secluded spot to be on your own. And you hear a deep, gruff voice of an older man speaking. Roll me... Roll me perception, real quick. Actually, first, what is your passive perception?
10.
Roll me perception.
Is this with a disadvantage? Is it by
It's
sight?
it's by sound.
Okay, so it's just a flat roll. 10.
Bro.
Hey, it would have been a 6 if it was by sight.
Fair. You begin to hear this voice speaking, and you can't really make it out because the echo of the cave kind of distorts it a little bit, but I think you hear it. And the voice is familiar. It's not... It's... You may. Go ahead and roll history.
13. Not much better.
This is the voice of Bulbit. He's speaking to someone you can't see or hear responding back. Because they're speaking, like, very hushed compared to him, even in this echoed space. But it's very clear that whatever conversation he's having urgently with this person. As they speak.
I could try to eavesdrop on them, but I could also do the right thing and try to ignore them. But Chisel's not good at being normal, and he's fidgeting. So I'm gonna eavesdrop. Just a little.
Roll me stealth, please.
6.
Okay, this person is going to roll perception. They need to roll
No.
really, really, really bad.
They need to roll above a 6.
That one.
Hello?
Chisel, I think you don't realize exactly... Like, you're familiar with your home space. You kind of know it because you've had to learn how to navigate it while blind on your own, so that way your family isn't constantly hovering over you. But I think you misjudge at some point the distance around the corner, and thinking there would...
the corner.
I think you were like sliding along the corner to just kind of like peek around it, and you overslide and just like not having the wall to support you on, just fall flat onto the ground and create like a decent sounding thump.
Ow. Why is there a corner here? There wasn't a corner 25 years ago.
You say this rather loudly, and
Well,
Bulbit.
Chisel is trying to act like he doesn't know they're there, so he's literally just talking to himself.
Okay, so roll me deception then.
Where is deception? There's deception. 12. Why did it go boop?
Bulbit stops his conversation with whoever he's speaking to. There's a sound of something being put away, hidden within his clothing. And he approaches you and goes, "Dear boy, Chisel, are you alright?"
I'm fine. It takes more than a slight stumble to knock me down. Sorry, I didn't see you talking to him.
He just kind of tilts his head at you and goes, "Alright, Tomorrow, you and I are scheduled to converse over a drink or two. Are you still available for that? Or would you like to have it at another time?"
Well, I do have something to do. Do you think we could push it to today? I'm currently free right now. I was mostly looking for a quiet spot to sit down and think, but apparently I cannot escape.
Gravity.
Bulbit nods to you and goes, "Of course." He kind of helps you to your feet.
Chisel just holds out his hand and gets up on his own. Because he has fallen so many times, he knows how to get up with pride.
I think you get up, and you don't see it, but he's definitely taken aback by the fact that you don't want help getting back to your feet. It's not that he is ignorant to the fact that you are blind and probably don't need as much help from being so self-sustaining for so long. I think he's just a little bit more cautious because he's like, okay,
How much of this is a ploy and how much of this is genuine?
yeah, how much help does he actually need? Or am I like overstepping? And he leads you further in to the half of your homestead where him and some of his family are staying. Obviously, he's not going to bring his entire entourage of people to this portion of the mountain when there's still much to do over on their side of things. But they have had, quarters set up for them and stuff like that. Stone chambers, easily connected to the other side through various hallways. You sit down sort of at another dining spot area, with him. You hear the sounds of him, like, talking to someone, briefly asking for, like, to serve the two of you a drink. Would you like some sort of tea, or would you prefer something a little bit more on the stronger side? Basically,
Earl Grey.
he's asking, do you want tea or do you want alcohol?
I know. I'm just trying to figure, would Chisel know what he would mean by something stronger? Because would alcohol be more accessible
Widespread?
to everyone? Because what trade routes would everyone have to supply alcohol to everyone?
That is a fair question.
Jared, you have an idea, right?
What?
Alcohol question.
Don't worry about it. I do
So,
not,
okay,
I do
what's
not,
the
no,
alcohol content, and how many people we need to feed?
no, stop.
I may be bad at math, but I'm a mathematician when it comes to alcohol.
I may be bad at math, but it does never equal 0.
uh, roll me history, Chisel.
I have a +5 for history. 13.
You recall that alcohol isn't as easily accessible to your family on your side of the mountains, because if you guys see on the map here, you guys are basically close to Hyostil, which would mean a lot of foot travel for someone who would be delivering alcohol. As far as you're concerned, it would make sense for maybe Bulbit's family to have easier access to it. So it's, if he's offering, then it probably means that he and his family brought some with them. That's sort of like to share with good faith or something like that.
I would not mind trying something stronger than tea.
He nods.
Or water.
Kofefe.
Coffee.
He nods and says, very well. And he is... There's like a moment where there's like shuffling around as he gets comfortable in his seat. You get comfortable in yours. Someone that you don't really, obviously can't see. You hear the sounds of something being poured into something else, into like a container. And you are handed a carved out horn, designed specifically to act as like, well, a drinking horn. There's like leather wrapped around the middle of the horn to create a sort of thick and sturdy sort of center to it, so that way it's not like uncomfortable to hold and it doesn't slide out of your hands. Obviously,
Is this a ram's horn?
you're incredibly perceptive.
I would have never thought to use horns as cups, really. We mostly use mushroom stalks and clay.
It mainly helps when you are hoping to travel with them, because then you could just attach them to your belt and then they sort of hang off. If you use like a thin leather cord.
Rather convenient.
Isn't it? It's very, very convenient. He takes a sip of his drink and looks to you and goes, I understand that coming home after such a long time and then learning instantly that you are to marry into a once rival family is pretty daunting. And probably
to marry into a family, to learn my brother is dead, to learn some religious thing that I can't really remember right now. Yeah, it's all just piling on.
sighs and goes, I understand, but I want you to know that we do wish to strengthen both families by combining our numbers. Just that, well, marriage was the easier option.
For the family. And Chisel raises the horn and takes a swig.
You take a swig, you taste pine and cider and all these other amazing flavors together that you haven't experienced before because you don't drink alcohol as much, and because of your lack of sight, each individual sort of like tip of flavor that goes into it is like heightened just a little bit more. And it's not it's a very pleasant sort of like,
oh boy, it's just, this could have been a mistake.
This is how Chisel became a drunk.
This is how Chisel became an alcoholic.
He sees your pleasant, like your pleased surprise on your face, and he goes, "And do you not normally have alcohol, Chisel?"
No, I didn't even know what it really was till I started traveling.
Suppose that's fair. Your family can't exactly have access to it with their side of the mountain being occupied where it is. So I cannot blame you.
Yeah, we really had to go through the overhead pass to get here, mostly because we were swept by the river. Anyways, what were we going to talk about?
We were going to discuss sort of how to make this process easier for you.
Well,
Now,
you don't have to worry about their looks.
he chuckles at your statement. Obviously, our families, we are not picky as to who you choose to marry, man, woman, doesn't matter. We have brought, however, we did bring people of your age, who we believe hold similar interests to you, to be potential candidates. We could do a process where you spend time with each of them, to sort of determine who you connect with more, and then we will go from there. Should you prefer that method? Or if you simply wish to find your own way and own method of getting to know these individuals better, then that certainly works as well.
Let's play it by ear. Let's find my own method because I don't know what I like, mostly because ever since I could wield a hammer, I've been training and just really just training and then leaving.
He nods in understanding.
Though I do like rune crafting. I've always been decently well at it. Why are you the avatar?
Motherfucker put a goddamn arrow on his head.
Just
Can't do shit here.
you're muted.
Because I was trying to be quiet and I had this little piece of foil and I just sort of kept folding it and it became an arrow.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. It goes in the bridge of the glasses.
I now understand the DM's blight for Legends of Evantris when her friends do this shit when she's DMing. I understand now.
Look, man, I'm trying to be nice. I know I creak and I groan and my chair makes noises, so I'm muted and everything, trying to be polite. I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Hey, at least I've been somewhat nice today.
Oh, I've been planning
Sun God.
for when Thevin eventually
That's
wakes
only
up.
been twice.
Anyways,
Sorry, going dark.
Noble 6 going dark.
he nods. He looks to you and goes, "Alright, play it by ear. However, if you feel at any point you wish to come in and introduce yourself further to the other members of the family beyond, hate to say it, potential candidates, then be my guest. You will not be bought entry."
Yeah, that would be rather rude.
True. But a family has to have their privacy, don't they?
That is true. And Chisel mumbles, "That is true," with just a slight melancholy in his voice. Because his life has basically been one giant secret. What you eating there, Elon?
Listen, ma'am, I'm hungry. I'm having
I'm
pigs,
just...
pigs in a blanket. But I'm picking off the cheese that's spilled out. He looks to you and nods and goes, "Right, well," he lifts his horn and goes, "To happy to be, to happy beginnings."
The happy beginning. And Chisel mistakenly downs the entire horde.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Let's see how lightweight Chisel is. 12.
Not,
Decent.
not bad. You're tipsy. Any more though, and you're fucked.
Just
I don't think you
you
feel a hand.
I don't think that was a good idea.
You feel a hand put on your shoulder by Bulbit as he goes, I don't think that was very wise, young man.
I didn't know I could see by doing this. Everything's spinning.
Oh, no, that's not seeing. That's called getting drunk.
Oh. Oh boy.
And he just, like, I think what ends up happening is he kind of spends the rest of the time with you trying to calm you down from your tipsiness. We're gonna go ahead and move on to Redwood. You are... Where do you think you would be in this space?
I think what Redwood did as soon as people split off is, well, he knows that there's not casters in this family, so I think he asks where most of the family grows crops or basic food supply.
Chisel's mother, who introduces herself as Brenda.
Brent and Brenda.
Brent and Brenda. I did not... Fuck me. You know what? Screw it. We're going with it. Brenda takes you off to a sort of separate hall tunnel area that arches upwards. Kind of like a slope through the through the mountainside. And it doesn't take you very long to get there before you end up outside. There's like a wooden sort of sliding slat that keeps out like the worst of the weather and stuff like that, and she pushes it to the side. And you see this plateau that's been like flattened out by hand, so to create sort of this crop area, and there's like sort of all these plants that they use and things. A lot of mushrooms, a lot of root vegetables and things like that. So nothing super like, there isn't like a ton of fruit or anything like that here. It's just mainly things that would be easy to grow in rocky soil.
Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Lots of potatoes.
Alright. I am going to do a little bit of magic. I say a little bit of magic. It's going to take me all day. If you'd like to come by, visit, absolutely sure. I don't know how much attention I can pay. Rob is a wonderful assistant. Don't let her start too many fires. And if someone needs me, I'll be here.
Brenda looks at you and tilts her head and goes, "What do you mean by make sure she doesn't start any fires? She's just a fox." You snap your fingers.
Redwood like snaps his fingers and shrub ignites.
Oh my god! She just kind of takes a step back. You're a druid.
She's literally as fiery as her personality.
You're a druid.
Yes.
She just kind of looks stunned for a moment and goes, "Okay. I do not believe I've met druids who are fire-related before." She kind of looks at Shrub as who's just still in flames.
Due to traditions, druids are very rare, and every circle is incredibly new. I am the first druid of fire. And this is my familiar.
Hi!
The fire.
Shrub says hi, and Brenda looks down at this fox, because to her, what she hears is classic, like, fox squeaking. Because no one else other than you guys can understand her.
Oh,
Which is weird.
She can understand you.
Okay.
So if you need her to do something, she can handle small tasks. She has the ability to float, the ability to catch fire. I don't
She's a
think
really
her
good
tele-
tracker of just.
I don't think her mental messaging skill works with anyone but me. But she's very handy and very nice.
Brenda is looking at you with this face of just like, okay,
I'm
great.
throwing a lot of information, and I know this as a player, but Redwood's like, this is my day to day.
Brenda just kind of nods and goes, okay, I will. I'm sure I could find something for her to do. Come
I
along.
appreciate it, man.
Are you alright? By the way. You look
I don't.
tired. Not just physically.
It's been an adventurous month, physically, mentally, emotionally, and a touch spiritually.
She nods.
I'm just going to spend a day with the plants.
She nods an
Plants don't judge.
she nods an understanding and goes, alright. Well, if you need anything.
I want to lie in the field of the potatoes.
I am Spud. She nods an understanding and goes, well, if you need anything, you know where to find me. And she takes Shrub with her and goes back inside. You begin to spend your 8 hours growing plants.
Redwood sort of like makes a small clearing in the dirt. He sits down on the floor. He puts both his palms down on the floor at his sides, and he starts focusing a little bit on that magical energy. And being one of his largest spells, it starts like coming up through the shoulder and into the way of his sleeves. I think he stops for a second. I think he literally rips the arms off of his robe. Because they're in the way. He can't tuck it up or he's bunched up. So he's like, I needed to do this
Mending.
eventually.
You have mending.
Yeah. He rips off the arms of his robe, settles back down, and starts the spell. The energy almost forming a circuit, moving from one arm up through the shoulders and down the other arm.
Connecting with this heart.
I am the dirt.
You are a potato.
Redwood. You begin to create this circuit. Information of the dirt around you and the terrain goes in through one hand, through your mind and your soul, and comes out through the other. A perfect river on loop where it just repeats the cycle over and over again. Begin to grow plants, just letting your mind wander and feel in this moment. Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
If this is something you connect to if this, can I willingly fail?
You are certainly welcome to fail if you really want to.
Okay, you saying that makes it sound like a bad thing. Okay.
Because it is a bad thing.
26. I don't want to fail after you said that.
Listen, I'm trying to help you here. This is the first time in a long time that you've been able to properly, truly meditate in the way that a druid can, and connecting to the world around you. Of course, you're not in...
He shuffles slightly. He doesn't like the way it's sitting on the dirt. He doesn't like sitting still.
Yeah. But eventually, after you shift for a while, after you try and spend time getting comfortable, I think there's eventually a switch that, like a dial that slowly twists in your mind. And you just reconnect with that part of yourself after so long. The ground here is incredibly barren of life, except for here in this little farm spot. high up in the mountains where only natural roots, deep-reaching roots, can grow. But it's in that sparseness and that rocky terrain you start to remember things. Things that make you afraid.
Casey, is there something you need to tell us?
I think that says it all.
Fire begins to roar high. Trees burn. Screams from people around you. Animals darting to and from burning underbrush. Ash. Shapes in flame that you cannot see, but clearly had scared you enough that you suddenly reached out for something that you did not realize you reached out for until it was too late, and that first spark ignited the driest leaf that it could find. You hear growls. Beasts that you have never encountered before closing in on your homestead of the Great Forest towards the base of the Haven Tree. An important tree to all of Umaria. You had wandered a little too far out of the borders of your village. You don't remember the creature. You just remember that it was dark in its color, and it had too many teeth for its mouth. And it attacked the wildlife in the area with a ravenous hunger. Unlike anything you've ever seen. Roll me initiative.
Oh.
A solo initiative?
20.
Now, any spells with fire that you have in the moment to roll to attack are going to be rolled with disadvantage. You also do not have access to your wizard spells, because this is past you. So please go ahead, tell me what you would like to do as you act first.
God damn. No spells, like, none of my wizard spells. Oh, fuck. Would I be able... No, because I got past without trace in the campaign, so wouldn't have that early. I think... What to do when you don't know. Redwood's gonna cast guidance on himself and start trying to find a way out of the way of the creature.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me. Are you trying to do this quickly, or are you trying to do this in a stealthy manner?
Trying to do this quickly.
Go ahead and roll me. Let's go ahead and make this just. Roll me dexterity.
Save or check.
Check, please. Check,
Natural
please.
20.
Excellent. You begin to move as fast as you can through the woods. But as you step, each step you take, fire erupts behind you, lighting the brush under your feet on fire. It doesn't hurt you. At least, not right now. You're too concerned about what's happening behind you as you hear the snarls of anger and hunger begin to pick up in intensity behind you as you run through these woods. The beast...
No. Redwood is like, as he's running, is seeing the fire, he's like, I know it's a bad thing, but he's slowing down a little bit and trying to put out his feet.
As you reach down to put out your feet, not realizing it, the first of your scars, as it latches onto your sleeve begins to rise up on your arm, singeing the material and burning it onto your flesh, creating a pattern of flame and fire. You continue to run, deciding to pat it out and ignore the pain and ignore the terror you're having to keep moving. The beast is going to try and attack you. Natural 20. I'm going to need you to take 7 damage for me, slashing.
Okay.
You run and run, trying to keep up. But suddenly something feels different in this memory. You hear a voice call out to you. Keep going. Do not turn right, turn left.
Left. Okay.
You turn left, darting as fast as you can through the woods. As you run, you hear the sounds of snapping trees as the forest burns around you. A tree begins to fall. I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw. But do me a favor and go ahead and extra d4 of guidance on top of that.
17.
You run. Suddenly, you hear a voice shout to you. Watch out as you're running. This large tree, one of the bigger ones that you've ever seen in your entire life in this forest, falls from the fire. The leaves burning a bright and brilliant. It's blinding almost. The smoke chokes your lungs and throat, making breathing hard, but you continue to run, sliding underneath at the last second as it falls, barely missing you as it connects with the top of the other tree next to it. It is your turn.
Following the voice in his head, Redwood is going to try and clear areas of fire to open up paths using Gust. Just create any split-second opening he can. If the voice tells him to turn left, he blasts left. All he is doing is running.
Roll me another dexterity check.
Natural 20.
Oh my
The boy
god!
can run! Boy can run!
You're running. You are running as quickly as your little legs can take you. You are very young in this memory. This is probably a year before you go out and start traveling. You leap over burning brush. You duck under burning tree, avoiding everything. Animals dart back and forth, trying to find havens safe away from the fire and the smoke and ash that is beginning to pile around you. You hear the snarling of the beast as it keeps running through after you through the flame and through the fire, but your footsteps start to ignite more behind you, lighting even more dry brush behind you on fire. Keep going, you hear. We're almost there.
I need water.
You will not find it here. So you keep running. And then suddenly you are pulled away from the body of your younger self. And you stand in this scene almost through a third person's perspective. Watching as younger you runs, his sleeves catching fire, his footsteps igniting behind him. Keeping up quickly. You hear a voice behind you. A voice that you are familiar with now, that you did not know the name to the person who it belonged to before. How much of the stay do you remember?
Remember the monster. Remember the fire. I remember Shrub. The rest was a blur.
Let us move a little bit more forward then, shall we? And suddenly, everything blurs for a moment, disappearing into a white mist before reappearing. The air is silent for a moment. Almost like a chill. There's a melancholy in the air, a sadness. The fire continues to rage off in the distance. Behind you. Several yards at least. And it begins to rain. It finally begins to rain. But it's too late. Forest burns. Much of it choked by ash and soot, as trees continue to fall. It will be some time before the first forest stops burning. No one really notices you or pays attention to you as they run past you to try and at least quell the flames earlier. You watch as you feel people bumping you, pushing past you, jostling you, as you keep up on your feet, and you just can't help but watch the fire burn. As everyone collectively runs out to try and save what they can of the forest before it continues and spreads completely to the Haven Tree, you feel a hand on your shoulder. The hand is comforting and warm. Like a hearth at home after a long day of travel in the cold. But also hot and dangerous. Like a wildfire. Primitive. But beautiful in its own way. You hear a voice speak to you, Go. Do not fear the flames, child. For it were not for the flames, you would not be alive right now. In time, your destiny will be properly revealed to you. There's a good chance that you will not remember most of this day. I believe that you are destined for greatness. Do not let your fear overpower what you know to be strength. You will be given a guide, unlike anything any other druid has been given before. She will be a part of your soul, a part of your very being and your magic. She will balance you. And for a moment, you hear a gust of wind brush away some burning leaves on a dry brush nearby. And a small little fox, maybe not even a year old, is curled up, shaking, soot-covered, but alive. She feels the heat no longer on top of her body, and she looks up with curious eyes before approaching you. sniffs your leg curiously, and then begins to lick the scars on your arm and soothes the burns.
I think during this whole scene and the talk and the people moving, Redwood hasn't moved out of position of just sort of sitting on the floor staring at the ground. But when the little fox comes up to him, he just leans over, picks her up, holds her to his chest. Uleta. You're Uleta.
Shrub, the fox tilts its head at you, as if it understands you. You just see the hand of the figure that had touched you previously wave over the fox's body. And she gently lights in flame, but it doesn't hurt you. She will be a reminder of what you can do. Something dark is coming, Redwood. This is only the beginning. And I have no doubt you will encounter this beast again. The memory fades, and you are once again surrounded in mist. But instead of a woman standing beside you, who you did not really look at the face of, you see a large red wolf sitting beside you. In front of you sits a image of younger you cradling a young fox. As you learn that you would need to undertake a journey of self-discovery without guidance of anyone within this new circle that you had suddenly founded. You have fear written all over your face. You are curled up inside yourself. If this doesn't move her mouth as she speaks to you, but you do hear her voice echo throughout this chamber as she speaks. I had heard of Frostbringer's deal with your companion Chisel. How you must slay your dragon companion from your past.
There has to be another path, right? I am to be the fire that burns. Surely I can burn corruption? Burn smoke?
How? Do you cleanse a wound and seal it when it is deep? What do you do? When you do not have the supplies to stitch it or bandage it together, and all you have is flint and steel, what do you do?
Cauterize.
You cauterize it. It hurts, and it leaves scars. But it keeps things alive.
And this wound, we can cauterize it without killing. Yes?
It will be tough. And it's not something that you have done before. But I believe you are capable. This will be your first proper test.
I don't think I've ever done anything twice.
She just kind of huffs out a laugh through her wolf body. That is fair. I understand that things weigh heavy on your mind. And while I cannot interfere too much due to the roles of my brother and sisters that were placed when we first made the world. I would ask you to be careful with who you trust moving forward. You have Shrub, you have Theven, and you have Chisel. But anyone beyond that, be very keen and wise with your decisions. The
I know
dark.
to be careful. He taught me how.
She nods. And kind of like how she kind of goes around you for a moment and then kind of presses a little bit more to your side, like a dog would, giving an owner comfort. It goes, "You are becoming stronger, Redwood. You are very different than the boy you used to be. Darkness spreads. You and your companions are the light needed to keep it at bay. I do not know what the future holds for you, but I can say this. You have proven time and time again to be capable. If you do not believe in yourself, at least know that I believe in you." She looks to the young you before you, the two of you, and goes, "I have no doubt that you have become an individual that your younger self would have admired not too long ago. Trust in that. And trust in your friends." She begins to walk into the mist, which starts to curl around her form. And for a moment, you are left alone to process all of this. And from there, we'll move to Theven.
Yee.
You can't sleep it away forever.
You cannot sleep away forever.
Oh, I didn't plan to.
All
We're gonna
right.
have to fight something while Chisel's drunk. No, sorry, tipsy.
Theven,
Yee.
you've had a nice, good, long nap.
Oh, yeah. That
You-
hit the spot.
You stretch, you feel some things crack and pop in a satisfying way.
Then your leg breaks.
Threaten! Where's that cave again?
Roll me investigation to find it again.
18.
Look at that, all you needed was a nap.
I have a nap?
Well, you probably have had a nap at this point.
Just
Hopefully soon. Just gonna get some more booze in ya.
it's not one of those naps where you don't remember it, even going to sleep, Jared.
Nah, I remember
I don't-
all.
I don't want one of those naps.
Evan, you wake up, you stretch, you grab your equipment, you're feeling great.
Mhm.
You had every I don't know about you guys, but a nap after exercising, you're going for a good swim, feels fantastic. And it's one of those kinds of energies that gives you like a good spring in your step. You don't even mind that like there's some passageways where you have to like duck down to get into, because it's a wonderful day. Things are
Oh
just
boy, here I go killing again.
Ah
Wait,
shit. Here we go
Seven's
again.
happy?
Uh, 7, you move
Well done, poor.
you move through. You move through. You once again find the cavern that you had originally looked into. It's dark in here. Even with the sort of runes of light that were carved into the walls and things like that to provide some sort of more like reflective markers of a highway road. You follow through, moving as best as you can through the dark. Do you have dark vision?
Elves do have dark vision.
Awesome.
The entire party has dark vision.
Yeah, elves have dark vision.
Good. Thank you for reminding me. You move through. It's what for anyone else it would be dark, but for you it's like just sort of dim. You see shadows of things moving, of like, you know, insects and things moving through the stone of the wall and stuff. Maybe the occasional lizard. But something about this feels off still. Just as off as it did when you first came here in your tired state.
So Thevin's going to be stealthing. Pretty much going in hunter mode.
Ah,
With a 22 to stealth.
okay. You
Bow
move-
ready, arrow knocked.
This is one of those caverns where the drop is incredibly steep down. The one where you kind of like the one where you took the torch or Redwood took the torch and just let it fall and he didn't even see it like hit the ground. But the pathway is wider here than it was in that space. You have like about a good 10 feet on either side of you before you hit those stone barriers that kind of prevent people from falling over. You're moving through this space. But you can't help but notice that you feel like you're being watched. Not scrutinizingly so, but the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. You hear...
Is it the same watch? Is it the same feeling being watched as the frost giant?
No, I think it's different. It's definitely different. You then hear Barun snarl.
Ugh. Been a while since I've heard a peep from you.
Something's coming.
Ah, great. Brilliance.
You hear him kind of like growl, but it's not the growl of, you know, protecting territory. This is me asserting dominance. This is him growling, realizing that he has encountered a threat bigger than himself.
Mhm.
And he was already pretty big, wasn't he?
Barun's, like, other form that he takes is massive. So, you continue moving down this cavern, bow at the ready. You briefly see something flash on the side of your vision. A dark shape just across the dark.
Calmly, immediately just tracks it.
You follow it. It continues going further down the corridor path that you're on, and it moves fast. But the shape is large. Do you continue to follow?
Yes.
Evan, run.
You continue to
Dude.
follow it.
Oh,
You continue to follow it. And you silently move for a while. Roll me another stealth check if you'd be so kind.
Okay.
ooh.
You
If I had advantage, that'd be great, but I
stole
don't.
all of your rolls.
Casey, if Thevin dies, I'm blaming you.
you move
Hey, if Devin dies, you get to play a second character.
you move forward. And in your focus of tracking this creature, whatever it is that's moving through the mountains cavern here, despite your best attempts of remaining hidden and stealthy in this dark space, you do kick a rock that bounces for a good bit. You hear
Right,
a very deep growl, and you hear a huff of something breathing, and your clothing and your hair gets pushed backwards from the sheer force of it. It's
Mints.
foul smelling, and it's hot.
Alright, then stealth out the window. So
Get farted on, loser.
chucks the beat of force.
Okay.
Up the butthole.
If I remember correctly, there is. You throw the speed of force. Go ahead and do the rolly rolls for that, because I don't remember what they were.
I think I just throw it to the area.
Yeah, you have to
It's
roll.
kind of like Fireball.
Yeah.
They need to make a 15 dex save or take 5d4 force damage.
Yeah, so it has to make the saves. I just kind of toss it to an area.
Got it.
Now, is it constant since it's a sphere, and whoever fails is trapped in the area?
No, it's like a bubble. Get Pokemon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, hold on. I'm on music.
Yeah, there's some Redwoods trauma.
You hear a snarl. You feel that huff. You throw that bee. What is the DC for the dex save?
15.
Was a natural 20.
Okay.
I think it's still... No, it doesn't take half damage.
With a natural 20, basically what you do is you throw the speed of force, you do damage to the bridge and weaken it, and it begins to collapse under your feet. I'm going to need you to make me a dexterity saving throw as you are running for your life.
Dragon Lords Part 1!
Nat 20.
So funny. You manage to jump back as you realize that this foundation here is significantly weaker compared to the thinner thinner, smaller pathways that you had taken on the way into the mountain. And as a result, the floor begins to crumble and crack from the intense blow of this force sphere that you had thrown out. And you start booking it as fast as you can. I think in this moment to aid you in this, despite the fact that you did get a nat 20, Barun flows energy through your body, and not in a way that would cause you to transform, but enough it's like, okay, shit's getting serious, I need to keep moving. But you hear the boom, boom, boom of something running on all fours, clawing at stone. But it doesn't take the pathway that you do. It runs across the sidewall that's several feet away from the path beside you. So you just see this looming dark shape that you didn't even really see properly as it was an inch from your fucking face. As it charges down the hall and basically in your same direction, heading back towards where everyone else is.
Is this an initiative roll?
Not yet.
Okay. I'm gonna take a shot at it then.
Okay, go ahead and take a shot at it, please.
23?
Yeah, that'll hit.
I don't have Hunter's Mark. Favorite enemy.
Plus full HP.
No.
No,
it
that's
didn't take any
after.
damage. It's after.
Okay,
So I don't get all my rolls.
you pull as you're running, you take the time to pull a shot back and fire an arrow. You hit it, and you did damage, but it's still going.
It's now probably mad at you.
It's pissed. It roars. It's as it starts I think in this moment it's like, oh shit, I'm becoming the hunted. Time to go.
I got to go.
This is what happens when you have ridiculous rolls, Jared.
Good.
Uh,
I'll bring this beast down.
as
No,
you
you won't.
as you charge through, this beast roars and snarls to the point that it echoes and bounces off the cave around you. And Casey, what are you doing? You're muted,
You're
my guy.
muted.
He's
Motherfucker.
blindfolded himself. with
Motherfucker put on a
something.
blindfold.
See no evil.
So Chisel's perfectly fine. Got it.
See, I guess that would be hear no evil.
7, you run and run as this thing follows you. Eventually, the path stops collapsing behind you, and you hear the thing leap from the wall as it lands in front of you, letting out a bellowing roar as its body alights, putting the cavern in pure bright light from its flames, horns curling from the top of its head, teeth too many for it to fit in its mouth as it snarls, ravenous and hungry as black ichor drool drips from its mouth.
Oh, you're gonna be a fine mount. Fires
I
another
have a-
arrow.
I have a question.
What's up?
Is the circle of force just sitting there in the air?
Probably.
Because it's immovable, so it can literally just sit there.
It's where they previously were standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty far away from it. at this
So
point.
I know, it's just I had a thought and it was funny.
All right.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah, the beast lights up, snarls, and Thevin's like, shoot.
all right.
Well, you're an ugly beast.
We're gonna go ahead and resolve that shot real quickly. So if you could go ahead and roll me another roll
Okay.
to hit.
That's a nat 20.
It's a 33.
Okay, I think there was something about Piercer, because I know...
Someone needs to take Thevin's bow.
I need to just remove 7 completely. I think that's the.
I mean, you are
solution.
very close.
Okay.
If this is a
This
dragon.
is the time.
Okay, and then I get to roll another additional damage die, because Piercer... So that... favorite enemy. And there's also Colossus Slayer.
and then
Yeah.
double that.
Then
double all that.
So that's 42. And you fire off another shot at this thing. Much like before, the arrow sticks. This arrow in this guy looks like a splinter. He's massive. Chisel, Redwood, if you could go ahead and roll me perception checks real quickly.
This is with disadvantage, isn't it?
I'm
mean-
also currently bound in a spell.
And I'm tipsy.
I would say it's been past 8 hours at this point, Casey.
Oh, good. Thank God.
And
Perception?
8 hours is enough for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perception.
20.
Do I still have disadvantage? Is this by sight?
Sound.
Sound. 18.
You both hear something boom, the sound of stone crumbling loudly in the distance, hitting against itself and each like other boulders and things, and you just hear a billowing roar of something big and angry and hungry. I think you guys start running and running as fast as you can.
Sorry.
Hey, Redwood. Where is Devin?
I don't know. I've been with the potatoes all day.
Shrub,
That was you.
you just hear Shrub go, "Follow me! Follow me!" As Shrub just starts, basically, you just see her dart from one hallway, like, on your right, suddenly book it as fast as she can before taking a sudden left, up ahead of you, and goes, "Follow me!"
What did you do?
It wasn't my fault this time! And Redwood, I'm gonna need you to roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, it's gonna be for fright. Why? Jack,
Because I'm a druid. Wisdom is my skill.
You stop. You come to like a skidded halt in front of you. This is a scene all too familiar to you. A scene that you literally just looked upon. Not even, maybe less than 5 hours ago. This is the beast of your nightmares. Or at least something similar to it. And it freezes. Turning his attention from Seven, who had shot him with toothpicks twice, to you.
Initiative.
That is where we shall end this episode here of 20-Sided Archives, Chronicles of Umaria, episode 18 of Chapter 1, Shadow Falls. We will pick up next time with Initiative. We hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Goodbye!
Bye.